Good morning. We are preparing for Shavuot, and it's important to keep in mind what are the priorities for Shavuot. So we know the tradition of staying awake all night, the first night of Shavuot, learning Torah, using the time the best possible way. But the question is why? Midrash tells us that the night before Shavuot, before receiving the Torah, the Jewish people had a very pleasant sleep, to the extent that not even mosquitoes were bothering them. They were in an absolute peace. And what happened? They slept in that morning, and they had to be waken up by God and said, come, get the Torah. Therefore, every night we stay awake all night learning Torah, showing that we're anxious, that we desire to receive the Torah. Now, the question is, we were counting for 7 weeks, counting the days. We want to receive the Torah. We know it's the most precious gift that we can get from God. So how did they sleep in? You know, you tell a child, tomorrow I'm taking you on a trip, you're going to Disneyland, something, anything exciting, he'll be awake, will jump out of the bed, 5 a.m., doesn't matter. Who can sleep when something exciting is happening? This was the most exciting event in the history of humanity. God is giving us the Torah. The reason for creating the world, for taking out of Mitzrayim, they were excited, we know. So how did it happen that they slept in? Obviously, it was no accident. This was something that they planned. They wanted to sleep when God was about to give the Torah. Why? It makes sense, because we know that when we sleep, our soul goes above, goes to God. And what better way to communicate with God than to be close to Him, to be receiving the Torah directly, our souls in heaven from Him. Yet, God was not happy. He said, this is not the way I want to give you the Torah. Why? Because the purpose of the Torah is not for souls only to have the Torah. Because the angels also could have the Torah. They are like souls, spiritual beings. Yet, God says, no, I'm giving you the Torah to transform the world. We're making a partnership. I take spirit and make it into physical. And now, after God is giving us the Torah, for the first time, we'll be able to take something physical and make it spiritual. Return, finish the process that God started. In order to do that, we need to be in a physical body, in a physical world, to connect the material, the world, with Hashem. That's why I said, God, I want you to be awake. It doesn't help me if your soul is with me in heaven. You need to be fully immersed in your physical body. And when you're awake, both body and soul together can receive the Torah to change and transform the world. And this is a lesson not just about a person for himself, but others around him. God gave us the Torah to transform our environment. We have to take care of those around us, inspire them, bring them close to the Torah, and then we'll be able to receive the Torah properly. And that's why I want to talk about the 3 leaders that Shavuot is very connected to them, because they were trailblazers. They created new paths in connection with God. Who are the 3 leaders of the Jewish people connected with Shavuot: Moshe Rabbeinu, David HaMelech, and the Baal Shem Tov. What is the connection? We'll see. There is many connections. First of all, the Torah was given to us by Moshe Rabbeinu, so it is very connected. That's why we celebrate Shavuot. David HaMelech, his Yortzeit is in Shavuot. It is written Be'atzeret Met David. And the Baal Shem Tov also passed away on a Wednesday, 6th of Sivan, holiday of Shavuot. And three of them, as we mentioned, are trailblazers. They are first on something. Moshe was the first leader of the Jewish people. King David was the first king of the dynasty of David, as we know that this is the dynasty of all Jewish kings. And the Baal Shem Tov is the founder of the Hasidic movement. All of them, share also a characteristic. They were shepherds. Moshe Rabbeinu was a shepherd, as the Torah said, to the sheep of Yitro. David HaMelech took care of the sheep of his father, Ishai, and the Baal Shem Tov, he was a shepherd of Tinokot Shel Bet Ravam, that we call them Tzon Kodesh, the young children. We call them the holy sheep because the way they go to school to learn, and he did that with tremendous care and devotion to them. Now, what is a shepherd? Someone that is very patient, has compassion, and is dedicated, and he gives all his being to take care of someone, because that's a shepherd does. He takes care of those in charge of him. So God saw how they were being so good, taking care of those under them, and God says, oh, these are good leaders for my people. And they have something interesting, three of them, that they educated themselves when they were at a very young age. Moshe, he grew up in the house of Pharaoh. He educated himself. He didn't have a good role model there. King David, we know from a young age, was a shepherd, and he had to be out in the fields all day by himself, and he educated himself. And the Baal Shem Tov, we know, became an orphan at a very young age, and also was able to educate himself. So, besides the personal traits that they share, they also are the three pillars of the Jewish people. They contributed to that. Why? The first pillar we know is the Torah. Moshe kibel Torah miSinai. He got the Torah and gave it to the Jewish people. King David, he created the base. The most important part of our prayers are the Tehillim. If you look at the Siddur, the Tehillim are so important. It's the Tefillah, prayer. And the Baal Shem Tov, he created the Hasidic movement, which is all about Gmilut Chasadim, about being kind to others, and that's how we got the name Shem Tov, the one with the good name, because he was so kind and he did so much chesed in the world. His loving kindness was special. So there we have the three pillars of the world: Torah, study of Torah, service of Hashem through prayer, and acts of loving kindness. So it's important on Shavuot, as we prepare for Shavuot, when we arrive to Shavuot, to strengthen ourselves on these three paths. On the path of Torah, by learning every day the portion of Chumash. We know each weekly portion is divided in 7. So Sunday we learn the first, Monday the second, and so on. Tehillim, to learn the monthly, to say, pray, the monthly portion of the Tehillim that King David composed. So, 150 Psalms are divided in 30 each day, what corresponds to the 8th day. Today is the 3rd of Sivan. And finally, the Baal Shem Tov, he started Hasidut. The most important book of Hasidut is the Tanya, and is divided into daily portions in a way that throughout the year you finish the whole book. So all three together, Chumash, Teilim, and Tanya, called Chitat. And it's very important to learn every day. It's portion, if you go to our page, chabadcb.com, there is daily study. You find many ways to study, just audio, with text, with video. And I strongly recommend that today, we're 3 days before Shavuot. We're supposed to start preparing to receive the Torah. Already today, you start learning Chitat, and when Shavuot comes, you will be able to receive the Torah in a deep, meaningful, and happy way. Thank you for watching. Tonight, we won't have a class at 8 o'clock, probably will be much later, but I will post it and share it with everybody. Shalom.